some work. Actually,
hey, what's going on, guys? Here at Galaxy Games with Chris, who won our local tournament with Zoos. He actually absolutely stomped my ass in the final round, and I was playing, trash cubics, but, still. Go ahead and take it away, man.
Okay, 3 Whiptail. It's just absolutely necessary for the deck. It's probably, in my opinion, the best monster. I think it's better than Rapier.
Yeah.
2 Thoroughblade. I really usually prefer to 1-3 because it is the best top deck when you're losing. And, it's a nice 1-for-1. And it's what nets you a lot of attack, and the piercing's nice. And just, sometimes digging through your deck is just really good.
Yeah.
But 2 because I just need space, and then 2 Rapier, combo starter. You have to play as many as you can.
Yep.
2 Ram. You really only need 1, but also like Thoroughblade, it's a good top deck because it's it gets you started with plays. And the 2 also helps because if you draw 1 with your rat opening turn, you still have 1 to send in your deck. It's kind of like Garnet Brilliant Fusion, so you play 2.
Right.
Hand traps, 3 Ogre, best hand trap right now. It's just nothing to say. It's just you just gotta play it. 2 Ghost Ash. This card's good, but it's not. It's one of the best cards ever printed. But against Zoodiac, where the hand economy, you're losing 1 card and they still get to keep their Xyz monster to keep stacking on and getting a Broad Bull Search. It's, not quite as good against them.
If you still don't know at this point how good Zoo is, the fact that this is a card that, as he said, is one of the greatest cards ever printed and negates over 1,600 cards, and it's kind of subpar against Zoo, that should tell you how good Zoo is.
Yeah, it's like just the idea that you're losing 1 card from your hand economy and they get to keep their card.
Yeah, even if it's negated.
Yeah. And they can continue to make plays. So like the 1 card Xyz is really the mechanic that what makes
what
that.
breaks the deck,
Yeah. It's like you can call it what you want. You can call it the huge Rapier combos. You can call Dryden being one of the other best cards ever printed. But at the end of the day, the fact that they get to keep the card and overlay with 1 card is what stops the card from being good against them. And then Metacall, 2 Winter Cherries, main deck. Even if I play Rogue, if I'm just going to lose the game and I have it, I'm losing, so they obviously have more monsters than me. I'll activate it just to look through their extra deck, just so I have ultimate information.
Yep.
So that was a concern of mine going into today, but after I did that, I'm not really too worried about it anymore. And then also 2 Flying Sea, which is a little more flexible against other decks, because most decks do Xyz Summon, but it's again just mainly for Zoodiac, and just I pretty much just play with my sideboard in my main deck because
10 hand traps.
Yeah, that's the matchup you're gonna play over 90% of the time. So I just play sided in for it already. And then the 1 Maxi, which is a card that I have considered cutting, not so much because of it's a 1-of and you'll never see it, but because whenever you activate it on someone and you're losing, they just stop. So you're just kind of just neg 1 yourself and you're going to lose anyway. And when you're winning, it's just win more. So
There's also the idea that, like, if they're about to OTK you and you max C, if they stopped, and it's just like you top deck something godly, which you can do all the time in Zoo, and then it's just like, oh, hey, I can come back.
yeah, but I mean, I don't think I would ever cut it just on the concept that it is probably the most powerful card ever printed. But it was something I considered.
I mean, I'd still consider it at least the most powerful hand trap.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I'd say the most powerful card, but 3 Barrage. It's just combo starter, extender. This card's great. I love this card. It's extremely flexible, being able to attach itself to Zoodiac Xyz.
Huge band.
Yeah, just nothing to say. You just have to play 3 of it.
Why wouldn't you
3 tanky, free search, just gets you to cards you need. Nothing to say about that. And we have 2 Cosmic Cyclone. So I know whenever True Draco came out, everyone started main decking this card for that matchup, but that's not the reason I main deck this card over Twin Twisters. So as everyone knows, going first is the most advantageous thing in the game. Well, even though Twin Twisters is the better card against Zoodiac,
I know, I thought that's so boring.
it's not very,
I go ball again too.
what's the word I'm looking for?
Stop sucking.
It's not...
It doesn't really benefit you to discard something.
Yeah, it's not optimal to discard a card for Twin Twisters to negate a barrage or tanky. That's the optimal. It's not optimal to do that. I'd rather pay 1,000 life points and get the 1-for-1.
He is very bad.
So, but which really MST would probably be the card of choice. But in case I do play that True Draco matchup, I think I still just prefer this. But I'd rather have the 1-for-1 than have to discard to negate those type of cards.
Yeah.
And then 2, My Body as a Shield. Just this card just prevents board wipes, ghost ogres, other tridents. The card just there to keep me alive, and I strongly would like to play it at 3, but I just don't have the space. And then I have 2 Shuffle Reborns. Thanks to Robbie letting me borrow one because mine's in the mail. And this other one's just a proxy, but this card, in a way, acts as a 4th and 5th barrage or a 4th and 5th My Body as a Shield. It lets you extend past things like, Tridents, Ghost Ogres, and such. And the big difference between this and My Body as a Shield, though, is that it will let you extend past cards like Solemn Warning and Solemn Strike. And that's what's good. And it's also good for outing things like Flying Sea by using its banish effect and shuffling the Flying Sea back in the deck.
Yeah.
So this card's pretty good. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of it whenever I saw that it was in a lot of the lists, but I see its uses, and I don't have enough pride that it's going to stop me from playing it. And 1 Raigeki, just because it's Raigeki. 1 Pot of Desires, only 1. I've played with 1 all day today, and it was plenty. I don't really see a need for 2. Whenever I was playing with 2, I saw it too much. 1 Soul Charge, similar to Shuffle Reborn. It's just a big extender for the deck, and it's just there for those purposes of getting stopped and being able to reestablish.
And with Zoo, it's not like you really need to pay like 3, 4, 5,000 life points to get yourself back in the game. You really only need 1 to 2 monsters at best.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every time I've ever activated, like in test, I only bring back 1 monster. 2 Solemn Strike, again, would like to fit 3, but space. 2 D-Barrier, I'm actually happy with 2 because I don't want to play other decks where this card isn't as good and just have a bunch of them in my hand, plus it's once per turn, so I think 2 is fine. Then I got the 1 Solemn Warning and the 1 Zoodiac combo, which nets me some recovery if I need it. There was a point where I was playing like 3 of these just to keep my recovery going, but I was also only playing 2 Bulls and 2 Tridents at the time, so that type of recovery was necessary. But now that I bumped those up to 3, I'm comfortable with putting this back at 1, saving space. And then for my extra, which this quick, we're at the 3 Tridents. Best card, you just have to have it. 3 Bulls. Just having these cards at 3, just whoever has more of these cards at the end of the day is who wins the mirror match. So I do think 3 is necessary of both.
Which would you say needs banned more? Granted, the OCG has both of them banned. I think they both deserve to be at least limited or banned.
I do think they both need ban, but I think Broad Bull is the better card overall for the deck, but Trident is just so problematic generically for every deck, and any rank 4 toolbox can you make both of these cards that I think they both need ban. I think Broad Bull is the better card for Zoodiac decks.
It may even be better for generic decks, because with Bull you can search out a whole slew of good Beast Warrior cards, and then in non-Zoo decks, that's the way you go into Trident. So if you're the ban Bull, then
it stops rogue decks from making Trident.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I do think Trident needs banned more because of its ability to just generically destroy any face-up card. Is just so broken.
And then you use it in your own combos for Ram.
Yeah, it's like one of the best cards ever printed. I think Trident needs banned more, but I think Broad Bull is the better card, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah. 2 Chalkonine. I've seen a few people playing this at 3 over the 3 Bull just because the resources are in general in the graveyard over in your deck late game. Really, I could give or take either way. Like, I like it both ways. I've even considered cutting like one of my random cards just to play 3 of this too, but it never really came up, so I think 2 is fine.
Yeah, 11.
And then 2 Tiger Mortar. This card has the ability to just put a material on anything, and I think that's stupid broken because like it just steals games from decks like Paleozoic and like decks like Cubic that just need like Paleozoic just need constant traps, and I can just keep taking them away with Tornado Dragon. Cubic just needs to have their grave effects at some point to make any effort at all into establishing themselves, and they just can't with an infinite Abyss Dweller.
Yeah, that was a big factor in the game too, just like putting materials on Dweller and just keeping me from getting my grave effects going.
Yeah, and these guys, just for names, Borbo's ability to direct attack wins me a lot of games. It won me a game in time today. Hammer Kong, I like his non-target ability, and I think it's really good, but it's the reason people aren't really playing Chalice anymore, and I understand. But I mean, sometimes he's not always the best thing to go into, but he is there, and he is very good. Then Tornado Dragon. I actually think this is the best card in the extra deck. I think it's better than Broad Bull, better than Trident. This card just comes out and it just provides so much interruption. Like this plus Trident is just so devastating that it's just like it's almost impossible to stop. Only 1 emerald because it's hard to make past turn 1.
Yeah.
So the recycling's important, but really the drawing the cards the only thing you want in turn 1. That's it. And then Charge Warrior. Just if I get Flying Seed, I can normal summon one of the 3 Ghost Sisters, the Cherries, Blossom, and Ghost Ogre, to draw a card and get the Flying Sea out of my way. This is more valuable than Abyss Dweller to me because I'm going to be playing more mirror matches than I am True Draco or Dinosaur. So, we'll go to the side real quick. 3 Gamma Seal just for True Draco, just because first or second, like you taking away Masterpiece just almost wins you the game. So. These are 2 Drone Lockbirds, mine are in the mail, but these are actually for True Draco Zoodiac specifically because they're Rat Pier diagram play that ends in Masterpiece and Trident with the Raid Raptor 4 Strix. They can't actually resolve enough to get it. It has to be one or the other, or at least Trident with the Droll and Lockbirds. That's why I chose to play this card, and it is good, against Potted Desires, Terraforming, and everything that the pure True Draco plays. So I am going to continue to side that card.
Good against a lot of Rogue as well.
Yeah, so if I don't side it in, it's whatever. I was ready, and I had it, and and plus against the True Draco Zoo, like if I open up Cherries, Andro, and Lockbird, it's just the game's over.
As you said, you play a lot of like side deckable cards in the main because you can.
Yeah. And then the 1 Abyss Dweller to swap out for something. I think I sided out Tornado Dragon against you because your deck doesn't really set anything.
Yeah.
So like I kind of just have to make that decision, but I could side out like 1 Bull or 1 Trident for it if I had to. But just Draco matchups, Dinosaurs, which are less relevant than the Zoodiac ones with the Charge Warrior and the main deck Flying Sea. So that's why I side this and main the Charge Warrior.
Yep.
2 Enemy Controller. I like it better than Board Wipes because there aren't any cards in Zoodiacs that dodge this card except for Hammer Kong, and even then you can elect to take Hammer Kong, and if they don't use their Trident to destroy the Hammer Kong, then you can continue with your plays, and like either way, the Trident has to be wasted. So like that's where cards like Shuffle Reborn come up. So if they choose to Trident their Hammer Kong, now they don't have their Trident anymore. If they let you take Hammer Kong and they do Trident it, the follow-up cards like Shuffle Reborn and Soul Charge let you continue to play.
Yeah.
So this by itself still manages to clear a whole Zoodiac board and dodges, you know, cards like My Body as a Shield. So I like it better than the board wipes. And then 2 Twin Twisters. It only comes in going second against Zoodiac, and then I sided it against Pendulum Magicians today, just to take away scales and stuff. But so in theory, going second, you would prefer to have this over the Cyclone just to clear more back row, because Zoodiac can potentially set a lot of cards. Also, there's this card has amazing interaction with Shuffle Reborn. So that's another reason this is almost a must in the side.
Or Soul Charge even.
Yeah, and then like random Paleozoic decks too. Like this card really helps a lot, having the Cyclone's Twister and the Tornado Dragon. And then 2 Unending Nightmare. I think this card's great first against Zoodiac because it hits barrages and tankies and forces out a Trident. So I really like this. I also really like this against True Draco as well because of cards like Skill Drain, Monarch's Erupt, Lose a Turn. So I really like this in that matchup as well. And then 2 Forbidden Apocrypha, just for going first against Zoodiac. Dodges My Body as a shield, and it's just a complete board wipe that there's... it's just a card like Dimensional Barrier, they just can't answer it. And then finally, just 1 Imperial Order, just going first against Zoodiac or True Draco, even Dinosaur. Like, it's just power card. Couldn't fit it in the main. I do like it in the main, but it's fine in the side. That's it.
All right, thank you for the deck profile, Chris. Congratulations on first, and good luck at Nationals here in the next week, actually.
Thank you.
And we'll catch you guys next time.